A great Friday morning. It is a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. And I almost had everything ready. Let me say that it seems like at the last moment, everything starts to like hustle and bustle. But I think I got everything done. Let me say it's been a kind of crazy morning. Uh, I was talking to a friend of mine from Monterrey yesterday, and he was asking me about, possibly heading out to on a trip at the start of the year. So I actually decided to go to Athens, Greece, Athens, Greece in February. Since I had to cancel my Carnaval Rio de Janeiro trip, I thought, well, yeah, Greece sounds about kind of cool. Let me tell you guys, I was able to find airfare to Greece, to Athens, $650, and round trip, guys, flying out of Brownsville, Texas. So that's always a great deal. Someone that knows a little bit about traveling, let's say a lot about traveling, is a very very good friend of mine. Let me see if you get. Good morning, Kathy. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing great. I'm in Colorado.
Colorado.
Haven't
I think I think
so you.
between you and me, I
Uh
think we
huh.
put in more air miles than anyone else here in the city of Brownsville.
That's right. And I don't travel with any taxpayers' dollars. I work and I pay my bills and I pay my airfares. So here I am in Avon, Colorado. It's beautiful. The weather's just so beautiful. Yep, I love it. I
Avon,
had to get away
Colorado.
from Brownsville. Avon, Colorado.
Yeah,
We got some snow a couple of days ago, but yes,
that's
it's
what I do.
beautiful.
I do the same. I mean, I feel sometimes I need to just get away a little bit, and that's why I try to
Yep.
uh, travel at least a week out of the month. But something that you mentioned that I really appreciate, Kathy. One of the things that siempre le digo a la raza, I tell people that I'm sort of glad that I'm not on the board right now, because with all the traveling that I'd be doing, people would be saying, "Puro vender money and Erasmo traveling."
Yeah. Well,
But
that doesn't work well. Eventually, it'll catch up with whoever's doing it. So,
yeah, it's
yeah.
unfortunate, and it's very, very unfortunate that we have individuals who think that what belongs to the community is what they could pocket for themselves.
Well, it becomes an entitlement to these elected officials. First of all, if you commit to run for something and you know that that's not a paying position, do your job. Really, truly represent your community and don't do it for self-interest. Don't do it because you have personal agendas and you want to be able to make profit off of it one way or another. You're trying to deceive the public that you're doing these things on the side, but in reality you're benefiting with the position that you have, and you take advantage of that situation. That's what it's become. It's become an abusive elected position based by self-interest. That's what it is.
Well, let me say, Kathy, and before we go into the topic of the day, that has been the topic of the day for the past 3 weeks. I put up. I was watching Frankie's show this morning, early in the morning, and Frankie made an amazing point. And it hit me, and I hadn't talked about it. I hadn't even posted about it. You know, during the pandemic, that we've gone through, a lot of the folk here in the city of Brownsville is that we're receiving, and throughout the country, we're receiving unemployment benefits. They were receiving this federal money, in order to, para poder pagar sus bilecitos y lo que tú quieras. There's always, we always know that there are those people that just don't want to work and want to collect the money. That's fine. Anytime that we put up a post, Kathy, in regards to, unemployment benefits, apply, these are the guidelines, hundreds of comments, Kathy, hundreds of comments. Que nomás son huevones, nomás están viviendo el gobierno, que no sé qué. Hundreds of comments, Kathy. And this is regular folk to regular folk. But we put up how elected officials and these individuals that serve on these boards and committees, they literally take millions of dollars, Kathy, and we got three or four comments. You know, why is it? Why is that mentality de que, oye, si a Katy le van a dar $2,000 de unemployment, qué mala onda. It's horrible. But these people take millions from us, Katy, and no one, not a peep.
It's unfortunate because you know that people have become complacent with certain situations or certain issues that we really have concerns with. I mean, I believe that America is struggling severely because people have gotten used to the unemployment, that check, you know, that monthly check that they receive. And it's unfortunate because everywhere, I had never in my entire life had I ever seen where there's so much hiring, you know. So since there's so much hiring going on, you know, that means that corporate companies are struggling because there's no people wanting to work. Because I've heard people say, why work? I get more money being unemployed than having to work. I've heard that. So we've become a country that, you know, is struggling, you know, at all corporate levels, because no matter where you go, they're hiring, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a grocery store, whether it's companies that have to produce, be productive. I mean, it is what it is. And when you have leadership, mediocre leadership, that's what I call it, mediocrity, that have low level of expectation versus high level of expectation. And it starts with self. If you have low level of expectation of self as a leader, then of course that's what you're going to produce to the community. That's what you're going to give back to the community. And in reality, it bothers me because Brownsville, I was talking to some people 2 weeks ago, and they didn't even know that Brownsville has 89%, 89.9% of the population low socioeconomic disadvantage. 89.9% of Brownsville being ranked in the low socioeconomic disadvantage population. What does that tell you? Our leadership is not really doing their job. They're not. You know, I spoke to an engineer from SpaceX, and I'm going to tell you what he told me, and it was embarrassing. He said, you know, your streets are so bad. You look like a third world country. Of course, he didn't come. He's not from Brownsville. So I was like, oh, you know, I didn't know what to answer, because I know that that's something that we've been dealing with for the past 10 years or
No,
so. And,
decades.
and you know what? Right now that we touch the streets, I heard that there was something approved by the city commissioners that for more bike trails or
Yes,
for
more
yeah,
hiking bike trails.
fix your damn streets. Fix your streets. People's vehicles are getting damaged, severely damaged. Whether you drive to the east, west, north, south of Brownsville, all the streets are bad. They're
Well,
in bad shape.
Kathy, I mean, you and I travel a lot. And look, I've just come back. I came back from Colombia. Been to Peru, been to Oaxaca, been to Puebla, been to Guadalajara, been just got back from Madrid and Barcelona. Let me tell you, Kathy, in none of the countries that I've been, in none of the cities that I visited, have the streets been worse than the streets in the city of Brownsville.
El mexicano dice que hay baches. Means that these are severely holes. They're really bad holes on the streets, you know? And that's what we're becoming. Not only did the engineer say that, let me touch the area where really bothered me. He says, you know, that we can't hire your young graduates from the university as engineers. Their level of education is so low. What are you guys teaching them here? I was like, oh my God, don't tell me that. You know, I myself used to be a school board member. That means that our curriculum group, our people in the curriculum are deceiving the system or the top administration and saying, oh, this is the best curriculum you can have and they're going to be okay. No, our kids get to the university and they're behind. They're literally behind. I have a son that's teaching physics. And when he went to Lutheran University there in Seguin, he called me. He says, Mom, yes, I was one of your top students, but step it up a notch. We're behind. We're behind, Mom. And I was on the school board then. I came and questioned the curriculum administration, and they say, "Oh no, we're good. We're." Good. I said, "No, we're not. If my
No,
son was an honor student and majored in physics, and he's struggling, we have a serious problem."
but isn't it? Could it be that I mean, I'm glad that you mentioned this. Could it be that a lot of our folk have just settled for mediocrity? You
That's what
know,
it is. Brownsville mediocrity. That's what it is. We
and
accept mediocrity. Well, not me personally, but I've come to a conclusion when they elect all these people.
caca,
Stop
caca.
electing attorneys. Stop electing attorneys. They maneuver and manipulate the system because they know how. Right away, they say, "Oh, it's the interpretation." It's no, please don't give me the interpretation sentence, phrase. You know what? At the end of the day, you're an attorney and you know how to manipulate the system. That's
Well,
reality.
well, I'm glad that you mentioned that, Kathy. One of the things that I was able to bring to light, and I think you know what I'm talking about, was the monies that the mayor and Ramiro Gonzalez were trying to pocket from BCIC, monies that should have gone to the citizens of Brownsville in order to improve, the city of Brownsville, but they had hidden their names away by putting up an LLC to get $200,000 grant from BCAC, non-payable back grant, free money. And when we brought it to light, the mayor then responds and says, "Oh, it's fake news. Erasmo's lying. It's fake news because we followed the guidelines." What they neglected to say is something that you just mentioned. They set up the guidelines because they're attorneys.
To
They know the loopholes.
exactly to circumvent whom? To circumvent who? Themselves? Because in actuality, let me tell you, in the real estate business, let me tell you the way it should have been done. First of all, I own a building. Let's say, for example, I'm an owner of a building on Elizabeth Street, which is the area, because they also stated the areas of the buildings that would be fall under that grant. Literally, they were the ones that said, okay, we're going to say that from this side of of East Levy to, let's say, from First all the way to 13th Street, for example. This is going to be the area of the buildings that are going to qualify within for the parameters for the grant. Nothing else. They also put that. They're the ones that decided. So if I'm an owner of one of those properties, why didn't they notify me, with a mail, a letter, a notice? Ms. Garcia, your home falls under this bracket. Are you interested in applying for the grant, or are you willing to sell your property so we can beautify or make this community or this area better, so we can bring more value, right? Did they bother to do that?
No.
People didn't even know that their properties were within that radius, and that were qualifying for that grant. So a lot of the people, somebody came knocking to their door and they said, "Hey, can you sell me the property? I'll pay you." That's the way it was being done. And it's unfortunate. And some of them were for sale. Mind you, some of the properties were for sale and they had a price. Some of the owners of the property said, "You know what? I don't want to qualify for the grant. I just want to get rid of it." And that's okay, because those were people that were aware of what was going on, and they took advantage of having to sell their properties at the moment that they felt that they would be able to get a buyer. So it's unfortunate that the way things are done is not really for the citizens or for the public of Brownsville. It's more for those elected officials that fall in the bracket of it's personal. It's for them. It's for self-interest, and
Well,
and forget that they
I,
got to.
I, well, I'm glad you mentioned in regards to the parameter, that a lot of the folks that inside the parameter, were not notified. And it's true. I found out about it. We have a building downtown. I found out about it because, I post information for people to know what's going on. But what bothered me, Kathy, was really, really very, very disgusting that these individuals who are in a power positions, in order to encompass their interest, their business on Palm Boulevard, Kathy, 1848, now owned by the Limas brothers. In order to encompass it, they extended the downtown boundary in order to put their business inside. I mean, how is this not crazy? I mean, how is this not upsetting to most people here in the city of Brownsville?
And you see a lot of people, I've heard people say, well, there's nothing we can do about it. Ni modo. It's okay. Let it be. Well, because we've come to that state of mind, let it be. That's why. And people, when you go out and vote, Make sure you elect people that have the knowledge of what needs to get done, that they're outspoken, that they will not back down to the fear of anybody else that's going to put pressure because, well, this is what it is. And I'm going to tell you, I lived it. I wonder how Minerva Peña feels now. She's censored, right? She got censored. Well, she was very adamant of censoring or censoring. It was two words that they didn't know which one to use because the attorney Salazar was the one that put that agenda item with former board president Escobedo at that time, and they wanted to censor. They didn't know the words. They misspelled both of them. They didn't know what they wanted to do with Lucy Longoria and myself, which they ended up doing. But I wonder how Minerva Peña feels now, And I think she needs to go, guys. A message to the community: you need to remove her from the board. She is not good for the BISD. Okay, so start figuring out who you're going to put in that seat next time she runs, because she's got to go. And I'm saying it because I served with a woman, and she brings nothing good to the district.
Es
Okay,
un asco. Es un asco.
yes, she's got two faces. She's a hypocrite. She'll
Hypocrite.
invite her to every place that there's food, and she'll be there at the schools, at the campuses. Let me tell
Stuff
you,
in her face. Stuff in her face. She's and what really bothers me about her demeanor is that she hides behind Jesus blood. Oh, Jesus blood, Jesus God, and faith and uh, religiosity. And let me tell you, there is no more heathen person here in the city of Brownsville than that woman. There's nothing religious about that piece of crap. Nothing. Joe, send me some information. I'll address it with you, my man. I promise. Kathy, you work in real estate. What is your take on the mayor and the Coca-Cola building and how they went about to do all this?
well, it's so unfortunate that the poor lady, um, I spoke to her myself. I know her ex-husband also, Mr. Peralta. He lives in McAllen, and it's so unfortunate that they took advantage of her, because if you figure out the price per square foot, I mean, they got a bargain. They got a really good bargain on that building. And I know that at one point that building was like about close to 600,000, and it had been on the market for a long time. And first of all, okay, so she had a realtor representing her. If the realtor knew, I mean, I'm I'm interested. I'm interested in knowing what the appraisal came out for that building, because if whoever bought that property, right, the people that bought it, I know who bought it, went through a lender, which was a bank, I believe, out of McAllen, and the bank wants to know how much the building is worth. I doubted that that building was only worth 400,000, 300,000, because if you divide the price per square foot of the building, which was the building was what, 12,000 square feet?
Okay, yes, I can remember.
Like 12,000 square feet. So this is the way people should figure it out. You divide the amount of the money into the square footage. And let me tell you, they got a heck of a bargain for that building. Not only that, but it's a beautiful historical building. I mean, it's got so much potential. The lady, again, I spoke to her and she says, well, what can I do now about it? It's already been done. And I always asked who I was selling the building to. And they told me that they could not tell me who was buying the building. And, it's unfortunate because the buyer had a realtor and then the seller had a realtor. Obviously, one of the realtors failed, or both of the realtors knew what was going on, and they failed to be honest to the owner of the building. And that's unfortunate, because we take an oath as realtors and we're supposed to be honest, and we're supposed to be able to tell our clients everything that's going on, and do what's best for our clients as our individual clients. So it's unfortunate that she got taken advantage of. To me, she was taken advantage of. It's a beautiful building and it's got a lot of value. So I'm sure that once it's fixed later on, it's going to have more value. And so whoever owns it will be able to make million, will be able to make more money off of the building.
Well, isn't it funny that I mean, the mayor and Ramiro Gonzalez, they attempted to get what, at least half of the money back from BCIC. So they were really not even paying what, the 385, what was it, 385, what is it, $400,000. They weren't even paying that. They were paying half of that because they were going to get $200,000 that should go to the people of Brownsville.
So if you look at it, okay, so I want the people to know. So if you look at the building, they paid 400,000 plus they're going to get 200,000, right? So those 200,000, they're going to beautify the building. They're going to make this building better. In the day of tomorrow, the owners, that's what's going to happen. That's reality check. So unfortunate, this lady could have been told, are you interested in repairing your building? It's a beautiful building. How about you apply for the grant, and are you interested in still having it as a business? Maybe you can benefit from it. Or are you really interested in selling it? Your building is worth more than what you're selling it for. They didn't do that. They took advantage of a 12,000 square feet building to be able to do what was best for them for self-interest. That's what it was. And Ramiro Gonzalez, I don't know what business he had in the city of Brownsville. He used to play golf for my husband. I always told my husband, you know what? He gives me a very bad vibe. Like, he's not a good person. Sure enough, it took me a while. And I told my husband, you see what I told you? And my husband says, you were right. You always said that. Even when he was on my golf team, I said, I knew it. I can smell it when I see it. I can see it. I
Rat,
can feel it. Mr.
rata.
has a comment there. He says, rather than spend a
The
hundred million,
$100 million on an entertainment value. Let's focus on our streets, flooding, drainage, and public safety. Overall, look at our committee, beginning with honest and qualified elected officials. And um, Secretary of State Judge Carlos Cascos, what he's referring to is the $100 million convention center arena that Cameron County wants the voters to vote yes for. I mean, why can't we fix what we have now before we enter into another money drain for the city of Brownsville?
It's unfortunate. We're going backwards. People, community from the city of Brownsville, please pay attention to what's going on. I know that the mentality that we have at times is like, oh, what? No, there are some of us are good people, and some of us are very outspoken, and some of us can truly defend what's right for you and what's right for all of us together. Because it's not about an I, it's about a we do things together. And I know that a lot of people don't like me because, let me tell you, because I'm outspoken and I'm not radical. I'm just going to share what I feel, and I share it with all my love and passion, because I wish I could see Brownsville in a better situation. And Brownsville is not getting any better. And don't tell me that SpaceX this and SpaceX that. There's pros and cons. And we need to really pay attention to that. And we have not been doing that, guys. Stop electing all these people I have yet to speak to Mr. Trey Mendez. I've called him, I've left messages, and ever since he got elected, he will not show face to you. It's only to that elite group that he associates with and that he wants to do business with. Okay? That is who we have as a mayor. And I wish that he would be a different person, but let me tell you, and it's unfortunate that that's what we have right now. But there's elections coming up. Pay attention to who we're going to elect, because those are the people. Look, and I hate to say this, but I show properties in McAllen, Mission, Edinburgh. I've sold properties all the way in San Antonio, Corpus. And let me tell you, I come back to Brownsville and I come back so depressed. And it's like, why? And again, we go back. It's your leaders, guys. It's your leaders. I tell people, don't elect me because I'm your cousin or because I'm your friend. Elect me because you really know that I stand for what I believe in. I stand for your rights. My rights are your rights, and I will never take advantage of you. And if people don't like me, I wish they could sit in front of me and tell me, hey, tell me why you don't like me. Because you can't handle the truth? Well, I'm sorry. It's just unfortunate, because I rather not be a hypocrite and tell you the truth and tell you that the storm is coming versus you drowning in the storm later on as a leader. And we have issues, guys, and we need to take care of them. So there's elections coming up. Pay attention.
Well, let me go into my other little soapbox, Kathy. When I ran for mayor of the city of Brownsville, they everyone always asks, what is the number one thing that you will do once you go into office? And I said, guys, I'm going to get rid of all these people on these boards and these committees. Kathy, these individuals that are here locally on all these boards and committees are the ones that are eating our lunch. I mean, these individuals get passed from one board to one committee to another committee to another committee. Para nada. They continue to do the same thing. They continue to pocket the money that should go to the people of Brownsville. That's one of the reasons why we've remained stagnant for all these years. You mentioned McAllen, you mentioned other cities in the valley. They're all prospering. They're all growing. Economic development
Far,
coming out of their butt. We
far
have
some.
nothing, but we have the same individuals on the same board, same committees. And I'm going to mention someone that you know. BCIC removed Ben Neese. That's the city commissioners removed Ben Neese. More power to them. That's okay. Uh, they didn't like him. It was a vendetta. No hay problema. But they replaced him with Cesar Lopez, former board member Cesar. I mean,
Let me add
Kathy,
to that.
¿en,
It's such a
en qué mente cabe? Out of 250,000 people, Kathy, 250,000 people in the city of Brownsville, they have to go back to a politico, a
wait,
questionable
wait,
politico.
questionable because let me tell you, I served with him on the board, and let me tell you, mm-mm-mm-mm. He's a choice of yes, let's hold hands and let's sing kumbaya, and you go roll my way and I roll your way, and we're gonna make it happen to the way that we want it. That's the type of person they put there, and I know it. I know it for a fact because I served. Because I served, and it's unfortunate that they selected him. And like you say, out of 200 and some thousand people, out of 200 and some thousand people, why him? Why couldn't they have elected somebody else or selected somebody else to serve on that board, on that committee? I can't get it. I received the call, as a matter of fact, as I was up here in Colorado, and they said, "Can you believe who they put on that committee?" And I said, "No, who?" And they said, "Cesar Lopez." And I said, "What? Who?" I said, "Oh my God, definitely someone that will roll their way." And I know it. I know it because I served that man.
I mean, again, there's questions in regards to him profiting from that graphic spot place, millions of dollars from the district while he was on the board. I mean, Barbacoa Gate, it all points back to Cesar
Yep.
Lopez, and
Yep.
you know
But
all this, and what the commissioners couldn't find anyone other in the city of Brownsville to appoint than someone that has been involved with all this hoopla.
it's so sad because that's why we continue to be in the same situation that we're in. We have a port that we shouldn't even be paying taxes. If our port of Brownsville would sustain itself and be doing the business that they have in Baytown, in all the other ports, let me tell you, taxpayers wouldn't have to be paying any taxes. They would sustain the community itself and themselves. I mean, we have a serious problem, and we have ground, we have air, we have rail, we have four sources to be able to bring in millions of dollars to our community and create jobs and do what we have to do. McAllen is only retail. That's all that McAllen has. Retail and a point of entry between Reynosa and McAllen, and that's where they get all their fundings, all their tax revenue. But guys, we are going backwards as a city. Pay attention to who you elect for your city commissioners, your county, your county judge, your school district. Guys, your Port of Brownsville, you have four entities, even five, because of your university. You have five areas where you have to elect leadership. You have the city, you have the county, you have the school district, you have the Port of Brownsville, and you have the college. Those five entities will help resolve the issues of your city if you have right leaders, if you have the leaders that are going to be aggressive enough to be able to do what's right for the citizens.
Well, let me say that again. I agree with you 100%. And again, it seems like we get the same regurgitated individuals to go from one board to another committee to another one to another one. We recently established term limits for city commissioners in the city of Brownsville, and I think your commissioner, the one that lives in your district, will not be able to seek a reelection for
Yeah, true.
District Two. But como que no quieren dejar el hueso. But
Well,
we learned that now that she wants to run for mayor of the city of Brownsville. What's your take on that?
you know, we deserve better than that. We really do. I mean, She is not someone that will impress anybody else. She will,
Very
you know,
minimally.
I mean, unfortunately, she doesn't have the IQ that's needed, that's required. She carries herself very unprofessional. I mean, I'm going to tell you, and I guess because my level of expectation is so high, so I don't know. Sometimes I feel that I even can't even meet my level of expectation because I keep pushing myself further and further to be, to do better and better. I mean, you're supposed to. I don't know. I hope that people can see beyond that, and that she doesn't have to represent us in that level. Honestly, I don't know. Me myself, I wouldn't vote for her. That's me again, and she's a person that should probably be just running her business and that's it. You know, but for her to impress me with what she has done, not one bit. I mean, yeah, she's done a couple of things that are okay, but not wow. Not that something that she's done that somebody else cannot do. I mean, giving meals, I have done that too. Helping people, I've helped people and I don't flaunt it. I don't say it. I mean, why do that? Go out there and truly roll up your sleeves and do what you got to do and be innovative, be creative, and do for your people. I mean, that's me. That's me. But I've heard that she wants to run for mayor, and that's the word. Guys, pay attention, guys. We will be in severe trouble if we were to elect someone like her. That's my take. That's me. If people were to ask me, that's me. That's what I say.
Yeah. Do you know the sports park is even being used very minimally? Not to the extent that we were promised. And this goes back to Judge Casco's comment in regards to spending $100 million on a convention, an arena out here, guys. It's the same issue. We've got the sports park, and the sports park was sold to a lot of the people of City of Brownsville by saying, "Hey, we're going to have all these major events out here. They're going to come and play concerts and everything." God, they have yet to hear about one single major concert coming down to the sports park. I mean, I'm tired of all the promises that are made by individuals in regards to the grandeur of things to come. But I feel, and this is just my take on it, I feel that all they are doing is looking at the contracts that are going to come, the construction contract, the buildings, the doors, the windows, the glass, everything else. It, and they go back to, someone who you know very well, Sylvia Atkinson. That's what she was out there vying for. She was out there trying to scam all contracts that she could from anything that was coming into the district. And it seems like her business partner Trey Mendez is on the same spiel, is on the same wavelength as well as Adela Garza.
It's so unfortunate that sports park was supposed to be something to be proud of and to get excited for, and have all these things going on, and it's just there. To me, it's just there. There's, I mean, look at the arenas in Edinburgh. When they put things together, they put them into play and they put them to function and work the way the plan was. And for us, is let's tell the community this is what it's going to be, and it ends up being something else. It's so unfortunate, guys. Again, because you elect people that they're either your friends, your family members. No, no, stop doing that. Elect people that are really going to be your doers, that are going to go out there and they're going to show face and they're going to tell you, hey, this is what we need to do. What do you think we're supposed to do? Because at the same time, as a leader, they're supposed to be able to explain to you and know what is really going on. We elect some of these people, they don't even accept your phone calls.
No,
Some of these elected officials will not meet with you. They will not even answer your calls. That's the sad part. So why do we continue to elect people like that? Elect people who are going to be there for you, that if you call them up, they return your call, that if you want to talk to them personally about an issue that you feel they need to explain, that they will do that for you. I mean, it's just sad. I mean, I don't know, this arena, I mean, it's I believe they see it, they foresee it as being good to the county. itself for the county, because this is for the county, if I'm not mistaken,
Hmm.
right? And it's
Right.
going to be in a location where it will benefit other areas of the county. But like you said, let's fix what the problems, the issues that we have now, and then let's go to the next project. Our streets are horrible, and our drainage system is horrible. I mean, it's sad. I had a vehicle that was underwater. My insurance is having to take care of it, but I was lucky enough to have insurance. What about those people that can't afford to have insurance and that their vehicles are paid for and they end up with no vehicle? You know. So yes, the Coca-Cola building, Lolita. Yes, that was the Coca-Cola building behind the old courthouse. That beautiful white building. It's got a lot of nice architectural work on it. Yes, that was the building downtown.
Tax rate is pushing families out of home ownership. They are forced to relocate to Matamoros and take the tax revenues with them. This is something that I've actually seen a lot. I've seen a lot of folk, Kathy, having to move because of economics, into Matamoros. Matamoros is not the safest place in the world. And, but I understand. ¿Qué es lo que van a hacer? Individuals can't earn a living wage here in the city of Brownsville. And, they decide to move to Matamoros home ownership. Do you think that this is part of the gentrification process with bringing in all these individuals from out of town, whereas now the opportunity to pay for a rent down here is just it's just
Well,
it doesn't match the monies people
the,
can earn.
yeah, the income, the salaries don't match the rental rate, the rentals that we have right now, and the income, the yearly income, doesn't match some of the properties that are being sold. Because guys, what happened with all this SpaceX? I'm going to tell you an example of a house. Homes that were worth 80,000 are now being sold for 150, 160,000. Homes that were worth, were being sold for 200,000 are now sold for 320, 340, 350,000. That's what it's done to our community. So if I get a call of a buyer that wants to buy a home for 120, you can't find them anymore. 130, you can't find them anymore. 80,000, you can't find those homes anymore. And it bothers me because we have people that want to become homeowners, and it's so unfortunate that not going to happen anytime soon or anytime anymore. You know, builders are building material, the cost of material has gone up, and it's just so unfortunate that we're having to face all these struggles and all these challenges, from construction to existing homes already. They're almost the same price. And we're leaving our local people that are wanting to become homeowners, or the ones that have ownership of a home, because of the tax that's so high. Well, again, because you have almost 8 entities collecting taxes. You have your county, you have your city, you have your port, you have your university, South Texas ISD, BISD. I think I'm missing one.
College, TSC.
So you have 7 entities collecting property taxes from you. People, it is so unfortunate. Mr. Othelbrand, right now, Mr. Mike Garcia, that's on the screen. I'm going to tell you, I was a very young girl when Mr. Mayor Othelbrand, uh, the man was at times hated, and the man was loved many times. But Mr. Othelbrand had a plan for all the cities around McAllen. He had a vision.
A vision.
And the vision was that McAllen and the rest of the communities were to come together, and they were all going to be doing well financially and stable. They were going to be doing great. The stability of each city was going to be great financially. And that was his vision. We here have no visionaries of leadership. It's about vision for myself. That is the vision that they have when they go in, and their personal agendas hidden when they're out there knocking on your door saying, could you please come vote for me? I want to run for this position. As soon as you elect them, they forget about you. No, Listen to the ones that are outspoken, and do your research. And
Due diligence.
if there's a doubt, talk to that candidate and let them know. You know, I mean, I have yet to see an Othel brand in Brownsville.
No.
They called him racist. He was not racist. He had high level of expectation. And let me tell you, when he ran his business, it was about business for the citizens, not for himself. Not for himself, guys. And let me tell you, that's why McAllen is who it is. And you know what? I want Brownsville, and I wish I could see Brownsville a better Brownsville for everybody, for upper class, middle class, and lower class, for all class level. It shouldn't matter who you are. As leaders, you represent everybody, not just the upper class, not just your group of elite friends. And that's what we have right now. Some of our leaders represent their group, nobody else. That is who it is. That is what we have.
Frankie just sent a text in regards to the city of Brownsville getting hiring the new city attorney, which is Victor Flores.
An outsider.
Well, from Edinburgh, of course, but also former state representative convicted of felony corruption, Mr. 10% Kino Flores' son. You know, it seems like Brownsville doesn't have no basta con los corruptos que tenemos locally. O sea, it's not enough, Katy. Not enough. We have to import.
They want to bring more of them in.
Look at the Limas brothers. The Limas brothers are killing it. I mean, they're making millions upon millions out of taxpayer dollars here in the city of Brownsville. And you know that they have him as the chair of United Way? United Way. The chair of United Way.
And you know what?
Sobrinos de Abel Limas.
Oh yes. Another thing, I'm intrigued. How do they come to a conclusion of who they want to select? Again, it's only, why don't they select somebody from the outside that, you know, they can mentor them and they can bring them into the organization? No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, who's is it the board of United Way? Or, I mean, I've always seen these people. And I'm like, wow, you know, it's the same little group, the same little cliquita. No, the same clica. It's called clica. No, how you see it.
We call it caca.
Yeah, my God, vamos de peor en peor in Brownsville. We're going from worst to worst. It is such a shame.
But you know, we're getting these people from Edinburgh, from other cities. You know, now Victor Flores is the new city attorney, who es compadre de toda esta gente, who's also part of this little corrupt little family over there. So it's like, no tenemos suficiente with the corruption here, with the corrupt people here. Now we need to import corrupt people from other places.
Outside. I have a serious question here. Okay, so we have our school district with Edinburgh people. We have our city with Edinburgh people. Houston, we have a problem. You know, it's...
Well, you know, Kathy, it goes back to the same thing that you mentioned at the start. Because you were mentioning how this engineer, these individuals from SpaceX had made mention, you know, we can't hire your local folk, you know, because of, you know, lack of education, or the level of education no llega al par with what is needed, you know, because we are the fourth least educated city in the country. I mean, is it to the point now that, you know, elected officials, you know, truly believe this and find it necessary to bring in individuals from other parts? I mean, we've got this lady from who's the head of GBEC, Helen Flores, I think, or Helen Flores, also someone from Austin, Texas. Why is it that we can't find local people, Brownsville people, to actually serve Brownsville people?
And you know what? Let me tell you, what do they know about Brownsville?
Nada.
Do they really know the east and west side? Do they know north from south? Have they gone into the trenches where, I can tell you, I go into La Posada, I go into Cameron Park, I go into Las Prietas. You ask me, Katy, what's the difference between one side of town and the other? And I know it. I can tell you because I've been there, and I have no shame. And if I have to roll up my sleeves and work with those people, I'll roll up my sleeves and I'll work with those people. I have no problem doing that. But you know what? It's unfortunate. I bet you can ask one, you can ask some of our leaders, do you know the difference? Morning, Mr. Frankie. How are you doing, Mr. Lee? Well, if you if you ask some of these leaders, do you really know your community? Do you really know the difference between one side of town and the other side of town? Do you drive every street around town and know the way they are and the situation? Hey, all of a sudden it gets flooded. You can't find the mayor. You can't find the city manager. You can't find any of these leaders. And you know what? It's such a shame of everything that's going on in the city of Brownsville, from the retirement that was taken away from the police officers to the insurance that was taken away from the firefight. I mean, let me tell you, we're going from worse to worse.
De peor en peor.
These people, firefighters, and let me tell you why I say it, because I worked with firefighters and I worked with police officers and I worked with public work people. I used to work for the city of Brownsville. I know how it runs. And let me tell you, a firefighter risking their lives, not knowing if they go to a call, will they come back to their family, their loved ones? Because I know I used to dispatch them. I used to send them to calls. A police officer going to a family dispute situation, people think it might be a simple call. There's no simple call for our police officers or our firefighters. They're always in danger. Why can't you take care of them? They work for us, for our city. They're out there day and night, 24/7, trying to protect us. And yet we don't care about them. We don't give them the benefits that they deserve after they put their lives in danger. What kind of leaders do we have? You know, that's another thing. Why did the change come about with the financial institute from one to the other? Why? You
Because
can
it's
do a lot of damage to people's financial stability for their future. You couldn't think of that as a leader?
because they benefited the Limas. I mean, they got the contract.
You
It goes
see,
back to the same thing, Gati. They're making themselves rich out of the money that belongs to the heroes, the firefighters, the police officers, to the regular citizens of Brownsville. They don't care because they're in power and they make the guidelines that permits them to continue to steal. And what really got my goat was this is the guy that's the chair of United Way, the same organization that is asking hardworking Brownsville folks, to give them a part of their check. It's crazy. You're going to put the hens in the fox with the fox. If you ask builders in Brownsville, they will tell you that they have to pay officials cash and favors in order for them to have permits approved and allow them to move forward. Gati, have you heard of anything of this sort?
let me tell you, yes. As a realtor, yes, yes. You know what?
Pay to play.
And I am I'm so embarrassed, so ashamed, and especially when people come from other places, they say, "Do you know that there's corruption here in your city?" And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. I have to apologize, for others people's wrongdoing and corruption, which I shouldn't. But you know what? It's the right thing for me to do because I care for the people, for the population that is being taken advantage of. And I am one of them. I am one of those people. And so is my family. And let me tell you, we got to change this, people. And in order for us to change our community, is you need to start paying attention. And you need to elect the.
Your sound went off.
Oh,
There you go. You're back. It's off. Sound went off.
we have to elect those people that are truly going to be strong enough to stand for what we believe in and to make the difference, to truly change Brownsville. And Brownsville has a lot of work done, a lot.
Well,
PUB, look at PUB. PUB, that's another animal. That's another animal. Guys, for us to tell you, it's because we've been there. We've seen it. I am not going to tell you something that's not right. I'm going to tell you what it is. There's a saying in Spanish. And for those of you, I'm going to translate it in English, but first I'm going to say it in Spanish. And I love to use it. Para que yo te diga que caballo es pinto, es porque yo traigo los pelos del caballo en la mano. So by the time I tell you that horse is pinto, it's because I already have the horse's hairs in my hand. So when I tell you something, By God, I'm telling you, because I've already done my legwork, my research, and I've already seen it and experienced it.
Well,
That's the bottom.
Lolita's mentioning the freeze of February freeze. Let me tell you, we've had the February freeze, we've had the October floods. I mean, we've had one thing after another thing after another thing, and still they continue to take our money and continue to use the resources that should be used in order to benefit and to improve the city of Browns. And look, and I think that this is frustrating for you, Kathy, because you as a real estate agent, you want to have greater opportunities to sell more property, to be able to showcase Brownsville as the gem that it is. But it's one thing after another after another. But when are people going to wake up?
You know that one of the main things that people look at is the education for their children. Number two is safety. How safe is the community? So those are things that we need to understand. Now, when outsiders come, I'm going to tell you, they love the weather. They're tired of cold weather and they're tired of issues, you know, that they've had in their own east and west area. There's a lot of people moving from the west because of the radical issues, the laws that they're changing, and they know that the state of Texas is a very strong state. Financially, we're strong, and we have laws that truly protect us in many ways, and from real estate to the criminal area, you name it, education, you know. And we get a lot of these people say, no, well, this law doesn't exist in our state and we feel safe here. So guys, I'm telling you what it is, and I'm not lying. And I wish I could have more time to tell you, go to this site, look for that information, and you'll find it there. And that's what we need to start doing. We need to start educating each other, talking to each other as to what needs to happen so we can change our community in a good way. You think I'm proud of seeing 89% of our community in low socioeconomic disadvantage? I'm not. I wish that I could get all those people out of there and get them moving so they can have better lives. Guys, it's not good. What we are facing in Brownsville, they're serious struggles. We need to change that. So if candidates start saying that they're going to run for city commission, for county, for school, for start getting involved and start talking to them, get a feel of them and understand what they really want to do for all of us together. I've been asked, Miss Gatti, come back into politics, come back and join the arena of the campaign trail. You know what? I've been so disappointed that people tell me we should have brought you back to the district. Should have, could have, would have doesn't exist. It's okay. We're here. We grab the bull by the horn and we change things once we have the right people. And we can do it, guys.
Yes, it's possible. Uh, you got a supporter, Kathy, and you support her.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing this. We need to hear this every day until people realize what is going on in Browns. I agree with Georgina. Unfortunately for the people of Brownsville, their attention span, their memory seems to fade away after the next disaster hits, and they forget. I'm glad Lolita brought up the February freeze. Is that people probably have already forgotten that they spent a week without electricity, a week, and all we got from PUB was excuses. And then you go and look at the board members. Y son los compadres, the same ones that are on the housing board, the same ones that used to work for Tony Martinez, the same ones that work with Trey Mendez. It's the same crap. We get no answers, Kathy. None. Nothing.
It's so sad. It really is. Let me tell you what the problem is. PUB has built a Taj Mahal building. Have you seen that building?
Yes, crazy. 65 million.
I've gone to other cities and I've asked about their utilities companies. Magic Valley doesn't have one like that. CPNL doesn't have one like that. Guys, let's start paying attention. And let me tell you, the PUB has a board that is appointed by your leaders, by your commissioners. They put people there that are supposed to be asking questions. They're supposed to be doing a check and balance. They're not doing that. And PUB is always saying, oh, we can do this, we can do. They don't. They don't come through for our community. They don't. Guys, we have serious issues in Brownsville. A lot of people don't see it and don't believe it, but I'm going to tell you, when I work with the city of Brownsville, I work with the school district. I'm a realtor. I know what it is out there. I've been in the areas of where I know what needs to happen and what's really going on. So people, let's start changing things up in Brownsville and do it, and let's do it for the betterment of everybody, not just an elite group. I'm telling you, start paying attention to. I
You're good. I can still hear you.
You can still hear me. Start paying attention to the groups that are out there. Who associates with who? Does Erasmo Castro associate with a upper class, middle class, and lower class? Yes, he does. He's just not the with a certain group. Does Scotty associate with all groups? Yes, I do. You know, I like I tell you, I can go into Cameron Park, talk to Pastor Alvarez. I can go down to Las Prietas. I talk to some friends that I have out there, and I have no shame. I go in there, and I can tell you, those people need a lot of help, a lot of help. So let's start thinking about the masses. These people, I've talked to some of these people, say, no, señora, pues they tell me that's the way it is. No, but you know what? Because they know that they don't have the education that some of us do and that can challenge it. And those that challenge the issue, we're hated. We're disliked. We're rebels. We're not rebels. We're just asking for what's right. We're fighting for what we need in our community. We're standing up for what's right. Guys, we can't continue like this. It's a shame.
It is a shame. We need to find people willing to work for others and not themselves. Guys, it's something that we've been saying for the longest time. We need individuals who have the interest of everyone, not just themselves, in mind. Let's see. Uh, What you haven't been to Westaco to see Magic Valley or down Paredes Line Road in Los Fresnos? There's one for AEP.
The building, the Taj Mahal, worth 65 million. I mean, I know that in Los Fresnos, down on 510 and Paredes line, but it's not as big as the one that we have. That was a brand new AEP building, but that's because they're trying to bring the services in all that area. Because remember, Los Fresnos has a lot of rural area. Well, it's not Los Fresnos because you have all these little communities. Los Fresnos has only like 4.5 miles worth of city for them. Los Fresnos is not a big city. I can tell you a lot of their land. I'm going to give you a little bit of news that you probably don't know. The city of Brownsville, and this really got me. The city of Brownsville owns the rights. You know where Rancho Viejo is and that brand new road of 803, the brand new beautiful road that they did, that highway that runs into Rancho Viejo, where the
Yeah.
expressway is.
Yes.
That 803 runs all the way to Farm Road 100, FM 100. That where all that land is, all that land on 803, that's owned by Cardenas Development and Madeira Development. There's almost close to 2,000 acres there that they're going to develop, and that's the city of Brownsville. We don't even have police officers to cover the area that already has residentials, nonetheless, to cover all this area over there. You know that all the way to Highway 100, where the expressway is, come down to 803? Let me tell you one thing. That belongs to the city of Brownsville too, not Los Fresnos. Los Fresnos only has 4.5 miles worth of land that belongs to them. That's it. That's a very small town. When I spoke to the leadership of Los Fresnos, and I spoke to Mr. Mullen, who is the city manager, a great man, my respects. I spoke to him and I asked him, why doesn't Los Fresnos own all of this area? He says, because Brownsville took it from us. We barely have police officers that can handle the calls. Guys, every shift gets anywhere between 100 to two, probably 100 to 180 phone calls a day. And that's probably low for me. With a total of 10 police officers to cover the entire 200,000 population. Guys, when do your city officials talk to you about these things? Never. Never. because their priorities are not for your safety. Let's get it together, guys.
100%. Thank you, Frankie. Frankie just sent a message that was out.
I'll
State Repres Thank you, Martin. State Representative Alex Dominguez is going to be running for a state senator, Senator Lucio's position. Uh, Thank you. The challenging question moves the leader's cheese. Yes. Will Kathy run for public office soon?
How about I run for District 2, City Commissioner?
Hey, that works.
Hey, I know my community well enough, trust me, and I'd be happy and elated to serve all of you, not just my district, but to be able to make decisions for the other areas. So trust me, I would love to do that.
This information workshop you two are doing right now needs to happen often. I tell Kathy, but Kathy keeps avoiding my phone calls.
No, but because I either I'm out of town or I'm doing business, because I do a lot of real estate in the Texas area. So I either sell properties in San Antonio, Houston, Corpus. So I'm around, but I'm thinking, and I'm really, really considering for District 2. I hear that there's another person that wants to run for District 2 City Commissioner. But if you guys can start helping me spread the word, I think we'll do very well. I would love to serve at the city level, honestly. I would like to be part of a strong team that will do for the city itself, not for self-interest.
Who owns my data? I honestly don't know. I've been
Okay,
there.
I'll tell you, it's a group of investors. One of them is there's an attorney by the name of Dennis Sanchez. The other one is a builder, Mr. Alfonso Gonzalez, I believe. There's like about 4 or 5 owners on that Madeira group LLC form.
Alfonso is from
I believe
McAllen, no?
España. I believe he's the España builder. He's the España builder. He owns a certain percent.
Yeah, Alfonso was pissed off at Brownsville. I remember that. Thank
Well,
you.
and I'm sorry, I was upset myself, and I'm not even from Los Fresnos. But when I started to put things together as to how can you see, how can you annex, how can you expand further out when you can't
Wonder
even
Lakes.
take care of what you have? You can barely take care of the city limits of the area where you're at versus wanting to expand further out. That's not right. Rancho Viejo is an independent, they have their own city council and their mayor, and they have their own police. And let me tell you, Rancho Viejo is growing. Guys, Brownsville is growing through meets and bounds. And I'm telling you because I know this because of the profession that I'm in. And let me tell you, I will come back with Erasmo and we'll touch certain areas where we need to let you guys know what is really going on. And let me tell you, I can give you the side of where Brownsville is growing, how things are at, and I'd be happy to help you guys understand certain things that are not given to you or taught to you, or information is not given to you by your leaders. Your leaders are supposed to be informative. That's what your leaders are supposed to be.
Transparent.
Transparent, informative, transparent, and lead and guide you in the right direction. And that's not happening. That is not happening, guys. They go in there, they vote on their agendas, whatever the city manager tells them they have to vote for. There's no questions at all. It's everybody's a rubber stamp. It's just let it go, let's do it, and that's it. And it's wrong.
It is wrong. Kathy, our time is up, and let's try to at least do this once a week, or maybe once
Yes.
a week.
How
So
about
you,
how about we get a date and planned and like that people know, hey, this is
yeah, and let's plan on one day a week. You let me know whatever you're available, and we'll give it a go. And
excellent.
it's really appreciated. Honestly, you're a well of information, and I think the people of Brownsville right now, they want to learn the process. They want to know more. They're becoming a little bit more on the woke side.
Yeah.
Kathy, any last words?
Well, I want for all of you to stay safe, and I'm going to wish you a blessed day, a blessed weekend coming up, right? Because it's already Friday. I'm heading back home tomorrow, but you guys take care and see you soon. And I guess spread the word. I'll be running.
Awesome.
Okay. Talk to you guys later. See you.
Guys, have a great day. It is Friday. We are at the start of the weekend. I will be busy tomorrow, so in the morning, I'll like Kathy. I believe it or not, I actually do work. So I'll be working early in the morning tomorrow morning. So no show in the morning, but we'll be back tonight at 9 p.m. Guys, have a great day. Social distance, face covering, hand sanitizer. If you still believe in all that stuff, guys, be good to each other. And please, please, please continue to be good to me. God bless.
Bye. God bless. See you